Could you just take us through going from high school to college to getting drafted into the minor leagues, and kind of just tell us how that process happened for you?
I played high school baseball at Kimball High School in Royal Oak. My senior year, I barely made the team. I was on the bubble and was one of the last two guys to be kept. Was recruited to go to Elma College for football, not baseball. Played football and baseball at Elma College, but ended up dropping out of football my senior year and just concentrated on baseball. From there, my senior year, I was recruited, or drafted, I should say, by the Yankees in the 22nd round. Found out when I was at home. Got a phone call from the scout who let me know, and just about an hour later got a telegram from George Steinbrenner, which was pretty exciting, and I ran through the neighborhood telling everybody.
Does the whole team communicate with each other, and is there a special relationship or a special way of communicating between the pitcher and the catcher? Can you put that together in a way we could understand?
Sure. I think in some ways, yeah, the whole team communicates. You see the outfielders communicated amongst themselves for the most part, and then oftentimes with the shortstops or the second basemen. But as far as the infield goes, we're all communicating, but not on a regular basis where the pitcher and the catcher are communicating constantly. So the catcher has to know the pitcher real well. The pitcher has to know the catcher real well. And there has to be that trust and that bond between each other, because the catcher's going to call signals. And the one thing you don't want to do is be standing out there shaking the catcher off constantly. You want to be on the same wavelength that as he's calling the pitches, you're agreeing with the pitches and throwing those pitches, but it doesn't always work that way.
And the reason why, can you explain the strategy that's going on? Why are you throwing certain pitches, and why are you shaking off certain signs from the catcher?
Mm-hmm. Well, for one reason you might shake off a sign is just you feel more comfortable throwing a certain pitch in a certain situation. Maybe he's called, maybe the last 3 curveballs, for instance, that he's called, you've thrown, they haven't broke real well, maybe they haven't been thrown for strikes, and you just don't have your rhythm just yet, and now the count's full, or you know you're in a tight count where you can't afford to throw another ball. So you want to get a strike across the plate. Maybe you just don't trust your curveball yet. That for that game, you just haven't broken it in yet, basically.
And how about coaches? When coaches come out to visit you at the mound, what are they talking about?
Well, let me tell you a story. In college ball, my senior year, it was the last game of the season. We were playing a doubleheader. I had pitched the first game. We had won that game. We're playing the second game, and this is for the championship. We were tied in the league. We were already going to the national, regional championships. We were going to play there after the season was over, but this was our last league game, and we were tied with our rival with 1 loss each. And I wasn't expecting to pitch. It was like the 8th inning, and the coach told me to go down and warm up. It was a tied game, I believe somebody told me. I go down and I start warming up, so I'm not really paying attention to the score. I'm not really paying attention to the whole situation until I get called out there. I go out in the last inning. There's a man on first and second, I believe, with 1 out, and I'm told the score is tied. So the first guy up, I strike out, so now I have 2 outs with a man on first and second. The next guy comes up and I walk him. So now I have bases loaded with 2 outs, and I'm pitching to the next batter. Everybody's excited. Tension is high. You could cut it with a knife. Everybody's talking. Everybody's communicating. The catcher's talking to me. I'm talking to the infield. Be prepared. Get that ground ball. Throw the guy out. Everybody's got a bag covered. We're all talking. Coach is yelling at us from the dugout. Get this. Get this. Move in. Move back. All this stuff is going on at the same time. It's the pitcher's dream, to be in this situation. Or it could be the pitcher's nightmare. But anyway, we start working this batter. We come up to a full count, bases loaded, 2 outs, last game, tied score. My heart was pounding a mile a minute. He fouls 2 balls off. Now it's even worse. Everybody's cheering in the stands. They can't wait for the next pitch. All of a sudden, out of the blue, here comes my coach calling timeout. I'm standing in the mound. The catcher's walking out to me. We're looking at each other going, what in the heck would he be calling a timeout now for? It's like calling a timeout for a field goal kicker with 1 second left on the game. He's about to kick the game-winning field goal. You'd do it to mess him up. I said, here's my coach calling a timeout. I'm wondering what he's doing. He can't be pulling me out because I can't imagine he'd put another pitcher in and have him face this situation. You know, so I know he's going to leave me here, but why would he be calling a timeout? And so we're all waiting for him to walk out. The infield crowds around the mound because we don't know what he's going to say. And he comes out to talk to me. He goes, JB, how do you feel? I said, I feel good. And he grabs his belly and he says, feel this. And we all look at each other and we all burst out laughing. And right then I realized all he wanted to do was help me relax because he saw the tension. He turned around, he walked back, he said, throw that curveball and get an out. And so he walked back, I threw the curveball, I popped it up to the third baseman. I go walking off the field thinking, all right, we got a tie game. We're gonna take it. You know, we're going into the bottom of the inning. We're gonna take this one. And everybody's running out of the dugout, and I can't understand why. I mean, it wasn't that great of a moment, but they're running out of the dugout. Come to find out, we just won the game. That we were up by 1 when I went in, and I thought we were tied.